Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Real Talk English with Lucy and Joseph. I'm Lucy.
And I'm Joseph. Welcome to our podcast for English learners. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and click the bell for notifications. It really helps us out.
Today, we're talking about something that many people love to do but worry about the cost. We're discussing how to travel on a budget. Joseph, do you enjoy traveling?
Oh, yes, I love to travel, Lucy. But you're right about the cost. Traveling can be expensive. However, I've learned some great ways to save money when I travel. What about you? Do you have any budget travel tips?
I do. One of my favorite tips is to be flexible with your travel dates. If you can travel on weekdays instead of weekends, flights and hotels are usually much cheaper. Tuesday and Wednesday are often the cheapest days to fly.
That's excellent advice. I also recommend booking flights in advance. If you book your flight 2 or 3 months early, you can save a lot of money. Last-minute flights are usually very expensive.
Absolutely. And speaking of flights, consider flying to smaller airports. Sometimes flying to a city that's 1 or 2 hours away from your main destination can save you hundreds of dollars. You can take a bus or train to your final destination.
That's smart thinking. Now, what about accommodation? Hotels can be really expensive, especially in popular tourist areas. What are some alternatives?
Great question, Joseph. Hostels are a wonderful option for budget travelers. They're much cheaper than hotels, and you can meet other travelers from around the world. Many hostels also have kitchens where you can cook your own meals. I remember staying at a hostel in Prague where I met travelers from 6 different countries, and we ended up exploring the city together. Another accommodation tip is to consider vacation rentals or shared apartments, especially if you're staying for more than a few days.
Cooking your own meals is another fantastic way to save money. Eating at restaurants every day can cost a fortune. If you stay somewhere with a kitchen, you can buy groceries and cook simple meals. It's also fun to try cooking with local ingredients. For example, when I was in Thailand, I learned to make simple dishes with fresh vegetables from local markets. Even making your own breakfast or packing lunch for day trips can save significant money over time.
Yes, and if you do want to eat out, look for local restaurants where local people eat. Tourist restaurants are usually more expensive. Street food can also be delicious and very affordable, but make sure it looks clean and fresh.
Good point about food safety. Now, let's talk about activities and sightseeing. Many cities offer free walking tours. These are great for learning about the city's history and culture without spending money. You just give a small tip to the guide at the end.
Free walking tours are amazing. I completely agree. Also, many museums have free days or free hours. In London, for example, most major museums are completely free. And don't forget about parks and beaches. Nature is free and often the most beautiful part of any destination. Many cities also have free outdoor concerts, festivals, and markets, especially during summer months. That's excellent advice about free activities, Joseph. Speaking of saving money, let's also talk about some useful apps and websites for budget travelers. There are several comparison websites like Skyscanner for flights, Booking.com for accommodations, and Rome to Rio for transportation options. These tools help you compare prices across different providers to find the best deals.
Those are great resources, Lucy. I also recommend downloading offline maps like maps.me before you travel. This way, you won't need expensive international data plans just to navigate. Apps like Citymapper are excellent for public transportation in major cities, and many cities have official tourism apps with free event information. Transportation is another big expense. Instead of taking taxis everywhere, use public transportation like buses and trains. Many cities have day passes or week passes that can save you money. Walking is also free exercise and a great way to explore a city.
That's so true about public transportation, Joseph. And here's something many people don't think about. Traveling with a friend or in a group can save money. You can share the cost of accommodation, split taxi fares, and even share meals. Plus, it's more fun to travel with good company.
Great point about traveling in groups, Lucy. Here's another important money-saving tip. Pack smart to avoid airline fees. Many budget airlines charge extra for checked bags, seat selection, and even carry-on bags. Learn their baggage policies before you book. Pack light and only bring essentials. You can often buy things like toiletries and basic clothing at your destination, sometimes for less money than you'd pay in baggage fees.
Another great tip is about timing. Shoulder season, which is just before or after the busy tourist season, offers great weather and lower prices. You avoid the crowds and save money at the same time.
That's excellent advice about timing, Joseph. And speaking of being prepared, don't skip travel insurance just to save money. Budget travel insurance is very affordable and can save you thousands if something goes wrong. Also, bring a reusable water bottle and pack snacks for long travel days to save money. And remember, budget travel doesn't mean you can't have amazing experiences. Some of my best travel memories were from budget trips, where I met incredible people and discovered hidden places that aren't in guidebooks.
I completely agree. Budget travel often leads to more authentic experiences. When you're not staying in expensive hotels or eating at fancy restaurants, you interact more with local people and see the real culture of a place.
That's so true. Well, I think we've shared some really helpful tips today. Let's summarize the main points for our listeners. Plan ahead, be flexible with dates, consider hostels instead of hotels, cook some of your own meals, and use public transportation.
Let me give you a concrete example. Last year, I planned a week in Barcelona. By booking flights in advance and flying on a Tuesday, I saved about $200. I stayed in a hostel for €25 per night instead of a hotel for €100 per night. In total, my week cost about $400 instead of what could have been $1,000 or more.
That's a perfect example, Joseph. I had a similar experience in Portugal where I spent just €50 per day for everything combined. The key is planning ahead and being willing to make small compromises. For instance, staying outside the city center can cut your accommodation costs in half while still being easily accessible by public transportation.
Exactly, Lucy. Here's one more advanced tip for budget travelers. Consider slower travel. Instead of visiting 5 countries in 2 weeks, spend those 2 weeks in one country. You'll save money on transportation between destinations, and you'll often get better rates for accommodation. Plus, you'll have a much deeper experience of the place you're visiting.
That's a great tip about slower travel.
Exactly right, Lucy. And don't forget about free activities like walking tours and museums. Travel during shoulder season and consider traveling with friends to share costs. Most importantly, remember that budget travel can be just as rewarding as expensive travel. Before we finish, let's give you 5 important words from today's episode to remember. The first word is budget. This means the amount of money you plan to spend on something. I have a budget of $500 for my trip. This word can be used as a noun or as an adjective, like budget travel or budget airline.
The second word is flexible, meaning able to change or adapt easily. If you're flexible with your travel dates, you can find cheaper flights.
And the third word is accommodation. This means a place to stay, like a hotel or hostel. Budget accommodation doesn't have to mean uncomfortable accommodation.
The fourth word is hostel. This is budget accommodation where travelers share rooms. Staying in a hostel is a great way to meet other travelers. And the fifth word is authentic. This means real or genuine. Budget travel often leads to more authentic experiences. Perfect. Thank you so much for listening to Real Talk English today. We hope these budget travel tips will help you plan your next adventure. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe for more English learning content. Also, we'd love to hear from you. What topics would you like us to discuss in future episodes? Leave your suggestions in the comments below.
Thanks again for listening to Real Talk English with Lucy and Joseph. We look forward to seeing you next week. Practice your English with us and see you next time. Safe and enjoyable travels.